All right, so earlier today on Instagram, I posted this.
You know what it is? So all week we've been running the same bias on my personal pair, GCAD, GJ, Gold, Euro, NZD. GBPJPY and GCAD I was bullish, Euro, NZD I was bearish, and Gold I was bearish. When we started this week, we had a running entry of 150 pips on Gold, we had a 100 pip entry on Euro, NZD, and GBPJPY I literally had to sit on my hands because the market was still very bearish and I was actually bullish. Patience was the name of the game this week. This morning at 8:44 a.m., I let everybody know, look, GJ, Gold, still good. Gold, GCAD, still good. Euro, NZD, still good. Still following plan. So last night, there was a re-entry for Euro, NZD, and that is up 70 pips. And that top entry is an old entry from 2-3 weeks ago. And that entry at the max was up about 200 pips. It's been skimmed down harshly. Gold, of today's move, you have 3 running entries, 150, 100, and 10 pips. GJ, 330 pips. GCAD 220 pip. Happy trading! You know what it is? So,
all right, so posted that up, and basically, what I got was what I knew I was going to get, which is questions, right? I already knew you guys wanted breakdowns, and as always, if enough people ask, I will do. I'm going to try to keep this short because the hour-long videos are a little too long to edit, and I got somewhere to be. But I did want to provide you guys some value. And as a thank you, as always, for following and supporting and spreading the word. And the only real thing I ever ask is for you guys, when it's your turn to teach somebody, not to teach them bullshit. Teach them the stuff that really works, okay? Don't be an asshole. So, if you're a beginner, the question becomes, what do I focus on? I'm brand new. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Now, if you can't afford something like one-on-one coaching, hashtag ZapzTrading, or you can't afford something like a community group, hashtag PipsologyFX, go check out those links, hit the recent button, and you'll see a bunch of stuff there to make you nice and comfortable in your decision making. Now, if you can't afford that stuff, you could always go to my YouTube channel. Now, on my YouTube channel, you're going to find a bunch of content, some breakdowns, 30 minutes, 34 minutes, 52 minutes. You're going to find some more mindset related things, and of course promotional stuff that helps people make the decision of what they want to do, what they want to invest in, and all that stuff, and even a $9,500 testimonial. This year I just started putting Forex content on YouTube. I hated YouTube, but you know what, people asked, so again I did. So let's break down let's do 2 or 3 of those pairs, okay? We're going to talk about the things that you should be focusing on as a beginner. Now, 1, price action. 2, Fibonacci structure. 3, price action. 4, price action. The technicals of price action. You see, indicator-based systems are based off price action. Most things out there are based off price action. My belief, just my opinion, and you're here to find out what my opinion is. My opinion is that if you learn price action, you could be one step ahead of any indicator. I prove it week to week, day to day, all the time. Now, if somebody has a perfected system, great for them. I personally have never run into one. So I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to learn this for myself and control my own destiny. And that's what we do every single week. So this week, we started in Pipsology with a bias. A strong bias, because my bias is always strong. It's never wavering. Now, when we entered the week, I was looking for gold sells. If you've been following for a long time, you know that I've been bullish on gold for a bit. Taking some huge trades on gold for multiple entries. We're talking thousands behind thousands of pips. And you also know that for the last month and change, I've been buying on GBPJPY and GBPCAD. There were some really strong trades there too. So when we entered the week, we entered with a bullish bias on GBPJPY and on gold. So GBPJPY, scroll there. GBPJPY and GCAD had bullish spikes. Nothing I could enter, slept right through it, but I am now looking for micro support on our interest prices. Okay, that was the beginning of starting to see this happening. Then we had gold was about 40 pips on the sell, and that has been +1, meaning I got hit out at break even, but If you know me, you know I take partial profit, and I paid myself something. It wasn't the whole thing. It wasn't a huge chunk of change, but percentage gains. And EURNZD retested our price zone 3, our price 3 zone in the middle of the night for yet another 30-pip move. It's stuck in major consolidation. Okay, so EURNZD and all of these pairs, all we've been doing is entering and re-entering, entering, re-entering. So at the beginning of this video, I told you what? Focus on price action and some Fibonacci work. So we're going to do this real quick. We're going to start with GCAD. Now, with GCAD, I already have this up here because I am lazy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a fib and we're going to draw on this leg of the market, right? If we look at the daily, it is this bullish move that you see right there. Now, on this Fibonacci series, basically what I was doing is I was using the previous leg where I took a bunch of buys and profitable entries and looking for continuation of that leg. That is why I drew my Fibonacci from low to high. The biggest question people have is, which leg is it? Which leg is it? Which leg is it? That's the most common question. For a beginner, stop worrying about being perfect. I've said this in other videos. Just start to work the market. Draw it. Worrying about being perfect is not going to help you right now. You want something really simple? If you're going bullish, low to high. If you're going bearish, high to low. All right? Now, when I drew that Fibonacci, what ends up happening is, so on the return of this market, we had the 61.8. The first time we got there, I ended up hitting that buy and it went for 300 pips. That was posted on the internet somewhere. I have no idea where it's at. But I guarantee you that you could find it, or if you want proof, I can also send you that. Gave out that setup because I've been bullish on GCAD. So when we entered this week, the retracement was real. It came pretty much all the way back. So when I drew my fib, I knew that this whole zone was a strong area of interest for me. The issue was, were we going to get a strong retracement? We have one touch, two touches, and a third touch. Remember this, trend lines. 3 touches equals a completed important trend line, right? 2 touches, not enough. 3 touches, now we're talking. 4 touches, even better, right? So when we look at those 3 touches, that third touch starts to say something, because if I break it down one more frame, there's another trend line here. Right there, the market is creating higher lows in the micro market on the smaller frame. It's also created those higher lows in the larger of the frames, and now we have matching synergy, confluence, whatever, through higher and lower frame, right? We're also bullish, right? I already knew I was bullish. There was no doubt about it in my mind. What I was trying to do is just find the best bullish move. Now, the question is, why didn't I get in from here? Because I wanted to make sure that we were bullish. And the way I made sure was by breaking over the area that failed the first time. That's how I made sure. See here? That failed. It failed. It didn't make it. So the second time it came through, it became very easy to just pop this trade right there. Okay? Once that triggered, it was all over. It was all over. I knew we had that in the bag. This was a price of interest for a while. It was a price that I had used in previous weeks. I used it here I used it within this trend to add an entry. Okay? And on retest, I used it again. So if it's important on the way up, it's important on the way down, as I've said in other videos, and the market will always love to come back to those key prices, and there you go. Okay, so that entry is not the sharpest, which I'm usually known for, these really sharp entries, but it is the safest, which is what I really care about. Okay, so being bullish on GBPCAD in the bag, 250 pips. Next, GBPJPY. Now, same deal, guys. Drew the Fibonacci from low to high. I am already bullish. We had ripped this apart in previous weeks, starting from 128.2 all the way up. All right. And we hit targets and the retracement was understood. Why? Because technically this thing is still higher frame bearish. So when the market decided that, you know what, we're going to do this retracement, I drew my little fib here and I said, all right, we're going to get into these setups if they appear. When we started this week, I was looking for a buy over 132. We never supported over 132. What we did was create multiple bearish structures. Trend line 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Right? So a double trend line there. A lot of resistance there. A macro and micro trend line. Also, this is more of a channel. Oh, that was drawn pretty weak. This All right. So we're channeling down. We're channeling down. So I already knew that I was bullish. That was my understanding of what I wanted to do. And what I preach in the group is to stick to your bias, right? Stick to your plan. If you got a plan, stick to it. Don't flip flop around in the market. 5 pips here, 7 pips here, 10 pips here. That's shit. In my opinion, that is shit. That is not something I'm wanting to do. I mean, if that's something that works for you, great. Then this video isn't for you. Get out. So the way that I look at it is this. 61.8 was the area that I needed the market to work, okay? It never got there. So again, same thing I did with GCAD. I look at this market, I go to the H1, and I see, oh, okay, these guys are creating higher lows. At least we're creating some sort of microstructure showing me bullish. We also failed to break the first time. So something very important that I told the group is, look, I know you guys some of you guys want to go bearish. In order for me to go bearish, I have to test this resistance, and I have to hold there over time. So this morning, we had already been in this trade from last night, and this trade was already up about 50 pips. So I made sure that I went into the group and I said this. Let's scroll up. GJ and Profit still looking for the resistance test to be able to give time for a more bullish break, okay? So at 8 o'clock this morning, I was like, we're not going to just jump into the sell because that would be foolish. We're already in profit, okay? Who cares if it leaves without us? I'll be able to catch up. Why? Because here was my plan B. I already knew they were creating that trend line, right? I already knew that we had created some sort of structure there. If it's meant to be bearish, the breakout of that would be good enough to take because that's more than 2 to 1 for my risk to reward. So from there, it's just about holding. Held the trade, and this thing blew right through resistance after about, a couple hours. So a couple of hours of holding there, and then maybe 1 or 2 more hours, and the thing just started blowing right through. No resistance was formed at the resistance point, which is this one right here. And nothing. That's it. It blew right through. It made my job real easy. Now, it kind of sucks that it didn't slow down a little bit for us to get an additional entry. But you know what? I will take the 330 plus pips on the buy on GCAD. Notice a couple of things. We didn't make it to 61.8, so I had to slightly adjust with a better entry. With GCAD, I did the same thing, and also with GCAD and GJ, it had the microstructure bullish trend line, which made my life really easy for both pairs. The fact that the market was channeling down like that, that is actually a Forex pattern, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but you can go check it out. You could check things like flag patterns and channel patterns and things like that, all right? So you can go do that on your own, but for me, from what we're talking about as far as what you're going to learn as a beginner that you should be focusing your time on, price action, technicals, Fibonacci. Start there. And a lot of people don't understand the power of it. See, I like to focus on real foundation. When I coach somebody, that's what we worry about. I don't worry about glitz and glamour and all the fancy shit people want to do. I worry about the things that matter. Those indicator-based systems, price action. Those indicators-based systems, Fibonacci. Those indicator-based systems, a lot of them don't work. So the way that I had to learn was just focus on what I know has worked and do that to the best of my ability. And don't worry about all these advanced tactics, because you could actually be an advanced trader with real solid foundation, understanding real basics. See, people think that just because you could define something, this is a trend line, 3 touches, this is a fib, boom, boom. That doesn't mean that you actually know it. Any asshole can tell you a definition of something. Any asshole can tell you how to draw a fib, but using it, right? How do you do that? How do you get so good at basics that it's almost unheard of to keep it that simple, okay? Too many people come into this game to make it harder. You got to learn to keep it simple, because the biggest thing with trading as far as consistency is a consistent approach. A consistent approach, a rule-based approach that you can always run back to when the market is a little tougher, okay? So I always have my couple of scenarios that I turn on whenever the market is a little tougher. If the market's not cooperating, I know how to double and triple confirm to keep myself even safer. In a scenario like this one, there's a reason why GCAD and GJ look exactly alike, because I'm doing the same thing on both of them. So again, when it comes to basics, don't disrespect basics, because this game is basics. If you don't understand your foundation of things, your price action, your technicals, your risk to reward, your quality control of entries, the real reason a trend line is used, how to confirm a breakout, things that you should definitely know like the back of your hand and shouldn't have any question as to how that should be approached on the market, then you're not doing anything. If the trade is not in your control, you're never going to be profitable. It's never going to happen. You need to be in control of every single trade you take. That's what we preach inside of the group, and that's what I preach to students. If you don't know why it is you're getting into a trade, or how to confirm a trade, or how to make yourself a little more comfortable, or how to add realistic, real confirmations to an entry, right? How to time stuff out, then what are you really doing? So with GBPJPY and GCAD, it was pretty simple. Micro and macro matching up trend line wise, and just giving it time to do what it had to do, and also looking for a higher low entry on a micro frame. Next, gold. Fibonacci City, once again. On gold, I was bearish from high to low. Bing, bing, bing. All right. Now, we had 61.8. That was the key. Last night on Instagram stories, I was showing you guys how we were selling and selling and selling and selling. Okay. A lot of sells. And then during that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour, I placed a +1 on one of my sells. And when the market reopened on the swap of the day, it just tapped that trend line, right? The trend line had been there the whole time. You can, I mean, it's somewhere. I think it's somewhere online. I don't even know. Let me see. Let me go find it. Screw it. So, as you can see in this market, the market has already tested trend line. You could really stare at this and see and try to memorize everything, so you know that I'm not BSing you. And basically, the market looked like that when we left off at that 5 o'clock hour. See, it's +1. My stop loss is in the profit margin. See how the trend line has not been interacted with, and I have these micro trend lines right there, letting me know where I'm at in the chart, because I follow a lot of charts, so I need to know where I'm at. As soon as I look at it, I need to know what I was doing and what I was thinking and what we've done. So all those things kind of let me know how things have been running, because for me to memorize all the charts that I have to watch, it's not possible. So, well, not for me at least, maybe for you. So when we go forward with this, the only way I did my entry, see there. All right. See there. See there. Market tested the trend line, and what did I just tell you about those other pairs that was important? It created a third touch. Okay, that third touch solidified everything I needed. After that, it was just about resisting at the price desired. Again, lower high, right? Because we're bearish, so one high, two highs. That gives me a better understanding that we are safe and sound. That was like 11 hours later, and then she was gone. And then the rest of it is easy, because it's the breakout of a trend line. Remember I said that on GJ and GCAD? Let's go back to GJ. Remember, or GCAD, I don't know which one it was. Which one was it? I'm going to say it was GJ that I said that on, but they both have the same thing, where it has a trend line. If the market is meant to be bearish, I'll catch it at the breakout. I'm not going to guess the breakout. I'll catch it at the breakout. But gold was already bearish. That trend line was already drawn. And once that thing breaks, I already know what I got to do. I sell stopped it, and there we go. 2 entries. Entry 1, 150, 160. Entry 2, 100 or something pips. And that's that. Okay? So pretty simple stuff. Pretty simple stuff. Now, I know whenever I make these videos, I always get the comments of, stop saying it's easy. It's not easy for everybody. I'm not saying that it's easy for everyone. It's even when things are simple, it doesn't make them easy. You still have to go out there and learn. You still have to go out there and have experience and go through the headaches and the migraines of this. You still have to find good resources. I always tell people, look, Google is your best friend. You can find all this stuff for free online. You can find them through my YouTube videos. You can find them on my IGTV. You can find them on my IG, years and years of content. You follow me on Instagram, that's free too. Instagram stories, I told everyone I was selling. You don't believe me? Here we go.
And basically, I'm going through forward. And you want to see some magic?
That's me showing them the trend line thing. And then this is
person that asked me,
me talking shit. My beautiful daughter. Let's scroll forward.
EURNZD gave it 80 to 100. It begins with GBP, CAD, GCAD. At the bottom,
There you can see the
for
trend
me, it
line
made
that I
more
did,
sense just to
right?
wait for
See
it
that
to
trend
reach
line?
the second signal enough.
All right.
Cut the wrist
all
down.
right. All
And
right. Scroll forward.
GBP
Scroll forward.
trend lines, right?
Scroll
120
forward.
to 200.
See, guys,
This morning,
I give out
golden profit
stuff all the time.
So
I
as
don't
you
hide
can
anything.
see this morning, so I'm stopping 100 pips.
That's me running through the market, looking at the charts, giving some quick little price action tips.
And so that's pretty. The knob and my week's
obviously the market had already done what we needed. That's me teaching a lesson about not being egotistical when it comes to the market. No one knows everything. What's this? Oh, this is a nice little testimonial review somebody gave me. Honestly, it makes me feel without a doubt comfortable with myself and my judgment. Even though I know I will have moments where I may lose, I've comfortably cast the fear of being wrong aside. Your teachings have taught me to be comfortable with every move I make and to let the market come to me instead of chasing it. I appreciate that. I'm not going to go there because that's funny to me, but what is this? Oh, one of the group members called 275 pips. That's me plugging my own post. And then this is me 20 hours ago when I posted that up saying that, and still obviously selling gold. And this is what happened. Boom. Nothing changed. Also notice one thing. Notice that the market, I get +1 from that entry. Look at where my entry is the second time. Slightly higher, but basically same price. Within that same 6 pip range. All right, so that's important too. If it's important on the way up, it's important on the way down. Learn how to recognize price. You don't know how to do that? Hashtag ZapzTrading, hashtag PipsologyFX. I'll be waiting. So basically, that's it, man. That's it. That's the importance of knowing your skill and knowing your technicals. Drawing that Fibonacci from high to low, some good trend line work, some good patience, and we're good to go. Finally, EURNZD. EURNZD, same thing, right? Now, these entries are old, okay? And this was a re-entry from yesterday. So we've been working EURNZD on the bearish side for about 3 weeks now, 3-4 weeks. I'm going to say 3 weeks. And the market is now starting to squeeze up real good, but we're still taking these sells because we haven't really left the bearish structure that we've been using. And as long as it doesn't happen, I'm going to keep selling and profiting. I mean, this entry right here, boom, 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 90 pips. This entry right here at its max was about 280 pips. This entry, when we took it the first time, 147. And notice, same spots, okay? Now, it was easy. High to low, right? We're bearish on the fib. 61.8, bing, on the way down. It comes back, 61.8, bing, on the way down. Now, here's the issue. We're creating higher lows. So what's the easiest thing you can do? Don't guess. If it's meant to be a break, let it break, right? If you're comfortable with sell stops, if you're comfortable with those types of executions, that's fine, okay? That's fine, go ahead. But for the most part, beginners should be letting the market break and hoping that it comes back for a simple retest, which is price action and technicals. Remember I told you, if you're new, what should you be learning? That a simple break and retest is a powerful pattern that I use all the time, that's used consistently in trading. Most people don't even know how to do that. Okay, they've been in this game for 3 years and they never let the market come back. They always take the breakout, and that's why they have problems. So what else do we have? We have trend line work. We have trend line work. We have trend line work. Okay, and all that stuff is telling me that I can still remain bearish safely. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We've taken it 6-7 times, multiple entries from the low spot. At one point I had 3 entries running. For the most part, over the last week, I've only had 2 entries running at different times. But it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. 3 touches, Fibonacci, and just waiting for the market to play itself out on that higher frame. I mean, none of this stuff is hidden from you guys. You guys just have to go out there and apply it and stop looking for Holy Grail. It doesn't exist. The Holy Grail, the shortcut is the work. Do the work. Go out there, get on the charts, draw up those trend lines, mark up the charts, find those key prices, work those Fibonacci levels, remain patient until it gets to those levels. You know, you use some breakout work where you allow the market to break out and you wait for that retest. See how good your trading becomes when you actually wait for these things that you know can happen, right? Instead of you guessing, allow things to happen. You know, in one of my previous videos, I talk about that with gold, where people were getting smacked up on the sells because they were trying to take the breakout and gold kept returning for 400 or 500 pips. When it comes to gold, I finally sold at the end of September, right there. That's one. And then another one, okay? And then I was left out of the market for a bit because I was bullish for a long time and I dropped the buys and then the market decided to go back bullish. So I got to sit on my hands. And then when we went back bearish, I'm back, okay? Allow the market to do what it has to do. You cannot get all the trends. That's why you should be watching more than one pair, having more than one plan, and allowing yourself to find the best setup. It would be ridiculous, right? If you had any kind of investment opportunity in front of you and you didn't do your due diligence. Or if you had 3 opportunities in front of you, 3 investment opportunities, real estate, to buy a franchise, whatever. 3 investment opportunities in front of you and you pick the one that you least understand. All right? What would you do if you were out there in the real estate world with 3 opportunities in front of you? You do your due diligence on all of them and you pick the one that you understand the most and makes the most sense to you. But what most people do is they have one opportunity in front of them. Whether they understand it or not, they need to participate because they're here and they need to make some money. And what ends up happening is they don't make anything because 1, they're not educated enough to actually profit out of this market. 2, they haven't done any kind of real analysis, due diligence, or any kind of anything in order to justify this investment into this market. And last but not least, most people do not give a shit about how to really get this done. They're just here to make money. And that is why most people don't. And that is why many of you that come my way, you are lost. You are lost because you continue to look for these things that will do it for you. They don't exist. They don't exist. And if they do exist and somebody out there argues with me that they do exist, I don't give a shit that they exist. Because from my experience, they didn't exist. And over God many knows how many years I've been doing this. And all the people that come my way that tell me about these different systems that didn't do the job that it promised. And all the people that come my way about all these things that made all these promises and none of it fucking worked. All right. So even if you have something that works, great. Enjoy it. Shove it up your ass. I don't care. Because for me, what works is what I'm telling you guys, brand new beginners, what I'm telling you guys to do, which is go out there and learn some price action, learn some technicals, learn how to approach this market with some actual respect, and then you'll see how far your trading can go. And that's it for me. Happy trading. All right. Real quick, had to add this to this video just to show you how things ended playing themselves out. When we left off on the video, what ended up happening was this market had major continuation. It had about 338 pips. So this is GJ, and GBPJPY is now up 630 pips. When we last left off, it was about 300 pips. Then we have GCAD. GCAD is up about 400 pips, and at the max, it was up about 500 pips. Okay, these things have been skimmed down big time skim out. And we even had a retest of the high, which ended up going up for another 150 pips, as you can see here. Okay, retest of the high, and there we go. Okay, so this market has gone crazy in our direction, and this is why partialing out, handling the market correctly, managing the entries, not overreacting to any kind of one-sided information, and taking it structure by structure is so key. Gold. Remember when we last left off, it was under $14.95. A retracement back to original price, but we were already in, nice and easy. And there you go, a mirror image entry. Mirror image entry. And that entry ended up going for 270. So remember, we were partialed out. So there you go. This is what we're, perfect markup, perfect price, knowing exactly where you want to enter from. If I entered from there once, I'll do it again. And then we get under $14.95 one more time. And there you go. Okay, so there's that one. And this thing is up, entry 1, which was skimmed down yesterday, 236. That's running at 10% of original risk right now because I've pretty much taken everything out. Then we got entry 2, which is a fresh brand new entry. It's running at 50% of original risk. And that one has about 200 pips on it right now. At the max, it was about 237 to 240. And then entry 3, which is a fresh brand new entry as well. That's 50% of original risk as well. And that is up at the max 200 pips, but currently about 117. Okay, so That's that. EURNZD is the only one that hasn't done squat from where we left off yesterday. So there you go, man. Holding entries. You could see how the market played itself out. You could see how the market reached for key price. You can see even, if we were to draw Fibonacci, this is a 38 level. Okay, just like that. And it's in there. It's in there. Fibs, trend lines, key price action. That's why I'm telling you, brand new people who are watching this video and you don't know where to focus. Price action, look up things like trend lines and Fibonacci's, start focusing on that. Channel patterns, things like that. Again, if you want to join the Pipsology FX group, shoot me a DM. If you want more information, go to my YouTube channel, watch that frequently asked questions video. If you want one-on-one coaching, watch the video, but definitely shoot me a DM and understand that that's going to be a long-term commitment. I don't coach people for a day. I coach people for weeks, months, even years. So that's it. Happy trading.